Hello, my name is Dwight Barnes, and I am the author of The Lightning Tree, A Spiritual Journey.
Where can the book be purchased?
The book can be purchased at Barnes & Noble, eBay, Amazon, and Discover Books.
What was the motivation for you writing it, and when did the idea come?
Well, the motivation actually came. Uh, I was thinking about the guys in the Bible that God had given the talents to and what they did with them. Uh, One guy, he buried his. One guy, he did something else with his. But the thing is, in the end, when the master came back, he held them accountable for the talents that he had given them. What'd you do with it? What did they do with them? And he wanted some accountability. And as a spiritual person, I started thinking about that. I started thinking about the gifts and abilities that I have, and what I was doing. What was I doing with them? What was I doing with them? Did I just have them and just to say I can do this or I can do that or whatever? How are they benefiting the world? What contribution was I making with my gifts? Productivity. And so I some guilt set in around that because I started thinking about my life, and I realized that I hadn't done anything really, and particularly to say thank you to the Lord for giving me the gifts and allowing me to have them. And so how do I say thank you, or what do I do in some way to glorify you through the gifts? And that bothered me for a while because then I started thinking, okay, now in my mind I'm thinking, well, what can I do? What can I do? Because the guilt, I felt really guilty about that because I'd never done anything with my talents or abilities that in some way didn't benefit me. Somehow I profited some kind of way through the gifts. And so that's where I was in my thinking. So as it happened, I got a hold of an old manuscript, for the lack of a better word, that one of my ancestors had written before she died. And my wife and I, we were sitting down and we were reading the things that she had left behind. And my wife said, honey, you ought to write something about that or around that. And so as soon as she said it, it resonated. So I said, you know what? I'm going to think about that. I'm going to give that some serious thought. And out of that, that's how the Lightning Tree came about. It's based loosely on some of the notes that she left behind, but actually that was just my motivation because I was looking for something, and as God working through my wife and working through the notes of my ancestor, that's how the Lightning Tree became to be a reality.
Well, who is it written for, and what kind of people do you think will connect with it?
That's an interesting question because at the time when I started to writing it, I was just writing it because that's the way inspiration was taking me. I hadn't thought about who was going to read it or who I was trying to target in terms of an audience or any of that. the inspiration was pushing me to write, and because I wanted to be obedient and I wanted to just go with the inspiration, I just started writing. But now, in retrospect, after it's written, and maybe at some point in the manuscript, when I got maybe halfway through or something, I realized that there were a lot of things in there. It just touches on the human experience. There are a lot of things in there that the main character goes through in her 94 years that we all are going to experience at some point in our lifetimes. It deals with loss. It deals with relationships, failed marriages, failed relationships. It has to do with family values and the things that you just learn in the course of your life, making mistakes and how to recover from those mistakes, how to come back from those mistakes, how to overcome obstacles and situations and things that get in your way. How to deal with adversity, how to deal with just trauma, the loss of loved ones, deals with how to deal with death. So there are a lot of things that it touches on that we can relate to, that the reader can relate to, because it's all part of the human experience. At some point along this journey, we're going to have to deal with every emotional situation or set of circumstances that we're capable of feeling. We're going to feel hate, we're going to feel loss, we're going to feel sorrow, we're going to deal with grief, we're going to deal with happiness, we're going to deal with doubt, and because that's all part of the human experience. And so the manuscript, the book now, deals with all those things. The main character has to deal with all those things, and she deals with all the things that life throws at her, particularly coming from the Deep South, and comes out a winner. But it's because the support of her family, particularly her father, the wisdom that he passes on, and a lot of help that she got along the way. But mainly it was her faith in God and her desire to be a winner.
So, do you think that you would describe this book as being a universal message for people of all ages and ethnic backgrounds and groups and orientation?
I think you could say that, because keep in mind, she was born in 1920 in the Deep South. This is during the Jim Crow and the racism and bigotry of the Deep South and all the limitations around race and all that. So she's got to experience that. She has to experience that, and all the stereotypes and the stigma that was attached to. From a black perspective, it was the stigma and the things that we attach to whites. From white perspective, of course, it's the reverse. It's all the stigmas and everything that they attach and associate to black people, and because of those, how we view them or how they view us, and how we do it. So in that, I think because this is something that's still very much prevalent today. The lack of tolerance because of the fact that my skin is not the same color as somebody else. I don't have the same religious beliefs or convictions as somebody else. I'm from a different culture. I don't speak the same language. My hair is different, is a different texture. So the lightning tree, it deals with those issues. It touches on those issues, the issues between race and the differences, our differences. And in the end, I think the main thing that it really touches on is that we can still come together. We don't have to be the same color, or we don't have to have the same religious beliefs or convictions. We don't have to come from the same culture. It's about tolerance and understanding that the fact that we're all different is what makes us all the same. So, and I think in that it has wide appeal because those issues are very much relevant today.
So once again, where can you purchase this book?
Oh, this is the fun part for me. I like saying this. You can purchase The Lightning Tree, A Spiritual Journey through Barnes & Noble, eBay, Amazon, or Discover Books.